What's up, guys? Welcome to the Saturday show. On Saturdays, I like to go back through the week, take a look at some of the bigger topics, and then see what you guys had to say about it. And of course, this week had quite a bit of stuff happening, including several leaks leading into E3, of course, whether it's Walmart leaking seemingly everything, or just some mystery games showing up in Gamestop's system, and of course, the Virtual Console, Nintendo Online, and just all this stuff happening. So we have quite a bit of stuff to go through and check out in the comments. First, though, we are going to start with a bit of news, and that is Sony told us about their showcase. So we now know when we'll be able to watch Sony's whole presser that they're going to do, and they're going to do something a little different. See, it's not going to be the typical one where they have a full live presence on stage. It seems like they're going to try to do a quicker, more cut and dry version of it. At least that's how they're describing it. We still need more information, but as you've seen on screen here, it is happening June 11th, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time. So it is prime time. They're going to be doing that, and of course, they'll be streaming it on Twitch and probably YouTube and even probably on their website and everything. So it'll be very easy to find it. And then, of course, we'll be streaming it here on the channel. So if you want to come by and watch it with us, that'd be great. It'd be a lot of fun. But they also gave us an idea, and it's very interesting to look at because they talk about how they're going to kind of go forward here, and they're looking for bigger announcements from the third parties because, well, they kind of told us what we're going to be seeing here, which include things like Spider-Man, Death Stranding, Last of Us 2, basically the big games that we already know about. In fact, they pretty much told us ahead of time, probably because I don't think they're coming to the table with anything mind-blowing or anything brand new. Now, if you're a fan of some of these games that you've been watching kind of develop, like a Death Stranding, I want to see some gameplay of that, then you're probably excited. I'm excited to see that. That's probably the big one. Last of Us 2, I still don't think is out. I think we're going to get a whole nother E3 for Last of Us 2. Death Stranding, though, is so interesting because we don't really know what's going on, and that's probably why that's the biggest one I want to see. I think I've seen enough of Spider-Man. I'm just ready to play that game. So, yeah, but at least we know when it is, and it's earlier on in the week, which is great, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So today, guys, let's get started. On Monday, we went over the possibility of the System Shock Remaster project developing a release for the Nintendo Switch. This came up after a mention in their Discord server that they were developing for an extremely popular system alongside the PS4 and the Xbox One versions. We also took a look at some knockoff Labo products like a cardboard guitar. Alan Leon says, probably the Labo bootleg guitar requires you to use the garage function from the Variety Kit. The garage function allows you to do so many stuff that it was a matter of time before some third-party toy cons started showing up in the wild. Yeah, I started kind of thinking about it. I even looked around, and yeah, it looks like you can technically design like a guitar setup with strings and everything, but they're probably not going to tell you how to do that with the instructions when they show up. So I'm waiting for this to show up. This and that arcade one, I think it'll be fun to put together with you guys on camera and just see if it's worth the $10 or $12 or whatever. So I'm going to have to look up exactly how to put that together. I think there are some tutorials online on how to build kind of the guitar string set, and I'm going to try it. We'll see if we can make it work. At least we'll know if the cardboard is quality or if they literally got like a box and put it down, laser cut it or whatever, and then shipped it out. Because if it shows up and it's super brittle and really annoying to fold, that's the one thing at least about the cardboard that Nintendo ships out with the Labo is it's easier to fold. It's creased in certain spots and everything. It's scored, so it's easy to, just flip over and everything. If this shows up and it's like, like I said, it's like the boxes you get for free at Costco or something, or it's not going to be fun to put together. But we'll see how it works and how it kind of holds up whenever it decides to show up. I ordered a little while ago. I think it might even be here, maybe if we're lucky today, because I got a notice, so we'll see. On Tuesday, we took a look at a job listing from Nintendo that is looking for a level designer for a new Zelda game. After this was found online, people started to speculate if this was for a Zelda game years down the line, or maybe one that could come sooner using the Breath of the Wild engine. Howdy Folks Gaming says, The Legend of Zelda, Mask of the Wild. Same engine, new map, new story, let's do it. And of course, we can get a whole new game for a few years later, but come on, Majora's Mask is one of my favorite Zelda games, and it was made using the Ocarina of Time assets and leftovers. Yeah, Majora's Mask was made actually pretty quickly. I think it was like a year, actually a little less than that even, and it was made because of the assets from Ocarina of Time. So they've done something like this before, obviously, with that, and really, I think the engine for Breath of the Wild is pretty good as long as they make it so it doesn't rain all the time. Whatever modifier is having it rain everywhere whenever I'm trying to climb something needs to be turned down to like 0, maybe 1 if it's like out of 100. Like maybe it'll rain every like 3 hours or something. But if they can at least fix that, I'm happy with the Breath of the Wild engine. Maybe do some work in the background to improve some of the frame rate issues that you run into at times. But yeah, the Breath of the Wild engine was fine. I like the open world aspect, I really do, and I like the climbing abilities and everything. The visuals look great to me. They're very pretty looking at certain times. So yeah, I have no problem doing that. The thing I really wanted Breath of the Wild to do was maybe get a little more creative with some of their big dungeons. If you have, there's 4 big dungeons and they're all kind of similar to a degree. There's nothing really stood out to me about the different dungeons. In fact, I would also like them to get rid of the weapon, I guess, them degrading over time and breaking. I mean, if we're changing a lot of stuff, why not? But yeah, I would like to see them use that same engine, to be honest, rather than try to build a whole nother Zelda game and make us wait, another 4 years or so. I would like them to do that maybe like as like a halfway point, and then 2 years later. So maybe it's like 2 years from Breath of the Wild, then 2 years later they do the big one. That way they can have different teams kind of working on them. Because of course, if you're building a whole new engine, it's going to take a while. Use the Breath of the Wild one, maybe it's a couple years. Wednesday, we went over Nintendo's statements regarding the Virtual Console. Currently, Nintendo has no plans to release classic games under the Virtual Console banner, and will evaluate Super Nintendo games to go along with the NES games with the subscription-based service for Switch. Needless to say, this split Nintendo fans, with many not happy to hear about the Virtual Console name being dismissed. Musico says, if you pay attention to the way they worded the article, it sounds like they're just going to sell these games individually and not under the Virtual Console name, which is technically the same thing, so ain't mad. So this is kind of the issue a lot of people are running into. There's a lot of assumptions being made. I talked about that, and people are trying to figure out if these are going to be for sale, because then there's no problem really at all, right? Let's say you have a full subscription service with certain games just added to it, but then you can also buy them. They kind of mentioned that at one point. Actually, in the beginning, they said that one would stay in rotation, and you could even buy it if you want to keep it, so it doesn't get removed from that free rotation. But now we're hearing about these 20 that are being added, and we hear NES, but then they're going to evaluate Super Nintendo and everything, and it's kind of all over the place, and that's the biggest issue now, is people just aren't sure as to what's going on. But I would like to see that you can also buy them, because that's the biggest complaint people have, is they're concerned that they can't buy them. Although, again, how many times are we going to really buy Mario or Zelda? The one reason I can see people want to do that is because the Switch offers them a different experience. Like I said, Super Nintendo games on the go, N64 games on the go, GameCube games on the go. That's the biggest one that's the most intriguing, because we heard it from rumors. It's never really been talked about by Nintendo that I've ever seen, so we're kind of hyped up for the possibility of something like Smash Bros. Melee or Mario Sunshine. These are games that could actually sell for quite a bit of money. They could put Melee out, and I have a feeling they could get $30 to $40 for that, and people would buy that, no questions asked. And if it has some kind of HD upgrade or something, yeah, they would get a lot of money for it. GameCube is the end game, I think, right now, with Nintendo and I guess Super Nintendo being the starting gate. So here's hoping everything ends up showing up. Again, though, $20 for a whole year with all this stuff, I feel like they're only going to have a selection that are free, and maybe it is just a 20-game selection of everything you can buy, and it's just free for the month. But, I mean, we'll see. More information hopefully coming sooner than September. The YouTube comment section, where people are actually logical about Nintendo's movement with their Virtual Console, and I thought that Harambe Memer was the only one with a brain. So if you're new to the comment section here, you're going to actually kind of enjoy quite a bit of it, because believe it or not, a lot of people in the comment section, especially with the videos that are happening here, people generally talk with relative sense when it comes to this stuff. Usually it ends up turning into more of a conversation and stuff down in the comments, which is really cool to see that. That's why I really like going through the comments, seeing what everyone's saying, and kind of picking out different comments and everything. I don't always respond to them, because I like to see what people are saying, rather than try to interject, since I just talked for a while in the video. But yeah, you settle in, because seriously, the comment section here it's usually pretty fun, and a lot of times you can actually see some people come to some revelations and stuff when they're talking back and forth about this stuff. Thursday, we talked about both Nintendo and Sony changing their warranty information after the FTC sent a warning that their wording was anti-consumer. Now, using non-licensed accessories, for example, and having your system fixed by a proper repair center will not automatically void your warranty. Rogelio Della Torre says, I'm surprised nobody has filed a class action against Microsoft. Over 60% of all original 360s have been red ringed. They basically sold you a $300 brick. Actually, it was worse. Technically, you get the 20 gigabyte model, and it was $400 back then. But Nintendo or Microsoft bent over backwards at the time, even taking as much as $1 billion cost to ramp up customer service, and they did repairs constantly. If you're within that 3-year period, they were sending you a box. you were putting your Xbox in, and they were express shipping that. I think one time, one of my friends at the time, it happened, and they got theirs back in like 3 days. Like the box showed up the next day at their house. They put the Xbox in there, and then like 2 or 3 days later, a brand new Xbox with like a year of Xbox Live showed up. So they were doing whatever they could because they admitted that they were in the wrong and that they had to take care of it because there was an issue. I remember even investors were on them about it. So they did this whole plan, 3 years and $1 billion in costs to get all of this sorted out. And people were still mad about it, but believe it or not, even up recently, like 2 months ago, they're still fighting cases from the 360, and it's not even for the red ring. It's for the disc gouging issue. It still technically exists, and that's kind of why they're still dealing with it. Do you remember how if you put your disc in a 360 when it's sideways or standing up, and then you move it, you hear this really bad, like almost like a garbage disposal noise, and it comes out and has this big ring gouged in it? That's what they were fighting about. It seems that they've been mostly winning those cases, although I guess the prosecutors keep appealing it. But hey, they're still fighting that 360 fight right now, even though it's technically discontinued. But what can you do, I guess? Finally, on Friday, we saw a list from Gamestop that points to a ton of SKUs for the Switch that appear to be hidden for now. With the 16 SKUs now in Gamestop's system, it seems we are now waiting for a big event to announce them all. And it seems E3 is the most likely place to do that. Ian Moon 123 says, Inside Xbox is just mimicking the Nintendo Directs. Actually, I look at Inside Xbox, and it's not as concise as the Nintendo Directs, where the Nintendo Directs are just boom, 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 just hitting you with announcements right away. They move on. Maybe it's a smaller announcement into a bigger announcement into a smaller announcement. It's very quick, right? It's like half an hour, and all of these things get thrown at you at once. Inside Xbox seems a little more laid back, seems slower, as the runtime is, an hour and a half of time? It's long, right? It's like 90 minutes. I look at that, and I see it more like old school. I say old school, it's really not that old, but like old school G4, like an X-Play that's all Xbox kind of. Like, I see it as like an old school TV show that would be based around video games. Some of you may not remember G4, and I love G4. So when I saw Inside Xbox, I was happy because I want everyone to do that because I miss video game TV. It sounds weird now to say that because, of course, you have YouTube, you have websites that put out video specials, but there was a time where you could turn on the TV, you went to a channel, and it was all video games. Then eventually that channel turned into just being Ninja Warrior and cheaters and cops. That's what happened. So it was a shame, but I even had a chance to talk to Victor Lucas at one point in a podcast we did, and he has the same feeling that I do, where I miss that TV that was based around video games. It was very fun. He misses it too. So I would like to see that come back someday, and honestly, Inside Xbox just kind of reminds me of what I used to watch back when I was younger in my early teens. Mighty Ryan says, well, with the $60 price tags, they gotta be more Wii U ports. I don't know what you're talking about. They've never put out Wii U ports ever for $60. Nintendo has never done it, and they never will do it for that. Okay, look, they do it a lot. Well, they've done it quite a bit so far, and I've thought about it more and more as we see this happen, especially with sales numbers, specifically for Tropical Freeze. See, Tropical Freeze, $6 when it came out, that's $10 more than the Wii U. You guys know the backlash that took place online, right? Well, sales numbers came out, and so far it's done really well. We're going to see what kind of tail it ends up having throughout the weeks, which we'll keep an eye on here because it's interesting to see that, but debuted much higher than the Wii U version, much higher so far. We'll see the MPDs as well, but it seems that with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe outselling the Wii U version, the Switch having a larger audience size already than the Wii U could ever have hoped to have, it seems like not everybody on the Switch had a Wii U or cared about the Wii U. Maybe they never even heard about the Wii U. There's some people coming back in with the Switch that didn't really play games for the past couple generations because the Switch is such an enticing buy. It's such an enticing idea. So it's going to keep happening. You're going to see more Wii U ports. We know Hyrule Warriors is coming up, but you'll probably see more. And some people actually want more. Some people want Xenoblade Chronicles X, for example, and I'm sure there's some other ones, Wonderful 101. I think you'll see them slowly come out because, honestly, it's an easy way to kind of pad the lineup some and get sales for games that were developed and probably came out and didn't make their money back. So it's going to be interesting to see, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if some of those $6 games are probably Wii U ports. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for the Saturday show. Thank you so much to everyone who commented. It was a lot of fun going through them. Like I said, I like to read them and check things out. Make sure you guys check out Spawncast tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to have a lot of fun. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on with Virtual Console, Nintendo Online, and E3 leaks and press conferences, and it's going to be a blast. We're going to have a lot of fun. So make sure you guys come by and check it out. That's 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be live streaming and having some fun. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it, dislike it if not. Make sure you get subscribed, stay up to date on all things gaming and technology news related, and I'll see you guys next time.